All right, now let's make this program a little bit more real. So I'm going to extract these few lines and put them inside a separate function called getUser. So a function called getUser, and we're going to move these few lines right there, like this. And here we call getUser. So we have a function for getting a user object from our database. Now to make this even more real, we can pass an argument here like user with ID 1. And here we can have a parameter called ID. Okay. Now in this function, we need to return a user object. So when we read the user from the database, right after that, we're going to return an object. Let's say this object has this ID property, and it also has a GitHub username property. I'm going to set that to Mosh. Now here's the interesting part. Back on line 2, we cannot get this user object like this. Constant user, set it to this getUser. This does not work. So if we do a console.log of user, we're going to get undefined in the console. Let's have a look. So back in the terminal, node index.js. So look, before, undefined, after. The reason for this is because this function that we pass to set timeout is executed 2 seconds after. So what we're returning from this function will not be available at the time of calling getUser. Because in this function, we're just calling set timeout to schedule a task for the future. If you want to return a value from getUser, we have to return it here. So let's say return 1. In this case, this value that we're returning here will be available on this line. So the user constant we have here will be 1. But that's not what we want, because when accessing a database, the result is not available immediately. It may take half a second, it may take 1 second or 2 seconds, who knows? So that's why I've called set timeout to simulate a long running operation. In this case, we're reading something from the database, and at this point, the result will be ready. So how can we access this user object in the main program here? Well, there are 3 patterns to deal with asynchronous code. We have callbacks, promises, and async and await, which is basically some syntactical sugar over promises. Now, chances are you're familiar with some or all of this, or maybe none of this, and it doesn't matter. In the next lecture, we're going to look at callbacks and how we can use them to get the result of an asynchronous operation.